there's a concept in security that a lot of corporations, ones with a large enough security team, will monitor the flow logs of the networks that they are responsible for securing. And how do I explain flow logs? When your computer talks to the internet, it sends messages to the internet, and those messages usually happen in a series of messages. So instead of thinking of it as mail, where you kind of send a letter and you get back a letter, or you get a bunch of letters and you ignore most of them, they're really more like telephone calls, where there is some of both. You can be sending lots of letters and not really worrying about the kind of whether or not they get there. But most internet connections, like when you browse the internet, when you connect to Minecraft, a couple of other things. Actually, I'm not sure which protocol Minecraft uses. Let me look it up real quick. TCP or UDP. There's two protocols that are very popular. There's many others, but the ones that are fascinating. So the Java edition uses TCP, while the Bedrock edition uses UDP. That's pretty hilarious. I'm not going to generalize about why Java and TCP, but a TCP connection is a lot like a phone call. You establish a connection, you kind of make a request. There's kind of a little bit of a back and forth of packets going back and forth. And after those packets are done, there exists this concept, this abstract concept of a connection. The routers in between, your home router, will remember that this connection exists and will forward kind of the right packets in the right direction with the connection entry in its storage. It'll, in its memory, remember that when packets come in, it'll recognize them as part of your connection and forward them to your laptop, or your laptop's connection, forward them to the right laptop or other device on the Wi-Fi. And so when TCP connections are established, it indicates that two devices are communicating. UDP is also something that flow logs can track, but it's a little less obvious when a connection exists. With TCP, every TCP packet that contains data sent between two computers needs to be part of a connection. There's a connection ID. There's a number that keeps track of which connection each packet belongs to. And so security professionals are often very curious about these TCP connections, because if there's some kind of malicious program, or some attacker is running a program on a computer inside of their network, almost certainly that computer will at some point send data to the attacker outside of your network, unless the attacker is like on the network. And so that information going back and forth is something that can indicate a compromised machine. And so security professionals will often collect flow logs, not the exact details of everything that was sent, but just the fact that a kind of phone call-like connection was made, the amount of data that was transferred, so maybe equivalent to the number of seconds or the number of words spoken in a telephone conversation. And these kinds of flow logs are something that would be really useful to have in a home network if one wants to, for example, check whether or not Minecraft is being played. If Minecraft is being played, a flow log will contain an entry for a connection between a certain device on the network and the Minecraft servers. It will maintain the amount of time that this connection was made, and it will maintain the amount of data that was transferred. Not that that's all that important in the case of seeing how long someone played Minecraft.